Welcome again to all out there to a conversation between friends. Again, we are gathered here in Wanda's home. Nada, Wanda, Mary Elizabeth, Edna, and myself. We thank Wanda for her hospitality. So we will go on today and continue our merry way through some conversations. The first one's kind of interesting only because Mary Elizabeth reminded me of this. I always mention that I'm a scientist, but we really don't cover who everyone else is here. So first and foremost, we're going to go through and we want some background information. Where did you come from? What did you do? Were you a teacher? Were you an artist? What were you before we
Stripper,
started?
whatever.
Whatever. So I'm going to start the conversation on that part. I know I'm a scientist. I am earned my electrical degree in engineering back in 1995 from Cal State LA. Went on to a career of working on mechanical equipment and electrical equipment. And I know that I've talked about it many, many times, that I've come a long way from that kind of scientist to where I am now. And I appreciate these ladies to help me get where I'm going and where I'm going to be later on. So thank you very much about that. So Edna?
So, where to begin? So, for the last 35 years, I've been an elementary teacher. I work with 8-year-olds, and I've loved every second of it, but it has been stressful, and I'm grateful that I will be retiring soon.
Yay!
But, yay! But yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 35 years. Teaching.
Okay.
And what do you do now?
Right now, I pull out students, so I'm more of a coach than I am an actual classroom teacher. But apart from that, I'm also a healer.
Thank you. I am Mary Elizabeth, and for much of my life, 28 years to be exact, I worked in the grocery field in multiple avenues, the majority of which were in some form of management. And then I became a district manager for Avon Products. I worked for the corporate offices. And then I worked in cosmetics, in retail, oh, I forgot. Thank you for the reminder. I also have my own Mary Kay business,
Wow.
which is actually when some of these weird, freaky things started happening to me, reminding me that I was meant to come to this world to speak. And then worked in cosmetics, and then my gifts exploded, and now I'm here, just letting whatever comes to be to be.
Okay.
Lovely. My name's Wanda, and I've been in some form or another in the artist field, graphic artist, graphic design, painter, ceramicist, for, I don't know, all through my schooling, elementary school, all the way starting from elementary school, all through college. Had my own business for 10 years in graphic design. Then I worked in publishing, was publication manager, and painted billboards.
Wow.
So I run the
Handy woman.
the gamut of different fields in the art, commercial art business. And then I went to, after the billboard, my husband didn't really like me being on billboards, up, 50 feet in the air or 100 feet in the air and the wind and everything. He thought that was a little scary for him. No, I was the one up there. But so then I went, applied at PetSmart and worked at PetSmart for 12 years, being in management of a lot of different departments, and then for probably 6 years as a dog trainer, which was really fun. Now
At PetSmart?
Yeah. And now I'm a ranch owner. I've lived on the ranch for like 30-something years. 34 years, and working with all these great people to develop my gifts and try to figure out this whole spiritual thing.
Dang.
And who knew there was such a thing as a ceramicist? I learned a new word
I did
today.
too. I was
I did too.
writing
Right, that's like resident. I just had to put that out there. I never had heard that
No.
before.
Yeah, in high school, I did oil painting and ceramics and sold them, painted and sold them. So.
Oh, cool. So you were actually on billboards painting?
Up on top.
Painting by hand?
Yep.
Whew. Okay.
And then we would work in the warehouse too, paint them
Uh-huh.
inside the warehouse,
Alright,
and
go
then they would there's paper ones, and then there's the vinyls that they use now. So,
Right.
Wow.
but now most of that is done digitally. It's
Yeah.
not done
All
by
signed
hand
digitally,
anymore.
yeah.
So
Okay. Wow.
yeah, drove around a little painter truck and
That is amazing that they did it that way.
I know, right?
Yeah.
climbed up the billboards and
Wow.
Oh, gun
That
ho.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
little
Need a
narrow catwalks.
little edge about
It
that.
was kind of
bit.
scary.
Yeah,
You just had to get over it. I mean, it's beautiful when you're up there, but when the wind hits it and you're
Sure.
waving.
Yeah, you're swaying.
But
Wow.
you wear hard hats and harnesses.
And you're locked in.
You're locked in, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's still
Yeah.
two little 2x4s that are only like this
yeah.
wide and with a gap in between
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So and
Wow.
nothing to hold on to but
Yeah,
the
I'm
board.
never doing that. Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
My husband was like, really?
Before Cirque du Soleil.
There was one up.
There was one
The billboard.
Good shape then.
Good, Nita.
So I've been working in corporate since 15 years old. I did teach middle school for a little bit and elementary school as well, but stuck to corporate. And mostly in the mortgage industry, then healthcare, IT, and now I took a complete different switch and I'm trying now commercial real estate. I'm also a healer and I'm also working on a YouTube influencer.
Wow.
Wow. So a bunch of normal people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you looked at me.
The question for tonight is not at least the first question. See how far we go with that. The first question is: Does intuition guide your spiritual journey?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's too short.
That's the answer. You weren't expecting that.
No.
Absolutely. That voice from within, that inner self that speaks, that is God speaking to you. That is what your inner intuition is, my friends. You need to understand that. That is the spark of life that God has brought through, that is experiencing life as you. That is your intuition. Trust it above all else. That's what we will say.
So it is a directed
It's a direct,
endeavor.
Yes.
So following intuition and your spiritual. So you really need to. A lot of people have a hard time following their intuition.
a lot of people are confused
Yeah.
as whether their intuition, because what happens when you have an intuitive thought is sometimes counterintuitive, or shall we say, doesn't balance with how you've lived your life. Do you understand what we mean?
Yeah.
And we can use examples from our ME's life that if she had only listened, she would have missed a lot of heartache, but she did not trust. She did not feel sometimes that she had the right to stand up for herself. And every single time when her body would scream, and we need you to hear that loud and clear, when you have an intuitive thought and you're going against it, your body is responding. It is going to either get tense, it's going to vibrate on the inside if it's something you absolutely must follow through on. And if you don't, we guarantee you're going to hit a wall of hurt.
What is it that people fear the most about following their intuition?
Because it'll take them out of what others have told them they should do.
Good enough. I know that you have a hard time because I live with her. So, and I know that she's always, when she has a problem, she says it's not time. She says, I'm just not ready for it. And I go, but what do you mean? She says, well, my angels are telling me that I'm not ready.
It's not time.
So how do you Okay,
So
so
isn't that an intuition?
what is that? So
yeah,
listening to
exactly.
yeah. So I want to know how you're feeling about that.
Well, going along with what Mary Elizabeth said, sometimes listening to your intuition is difficult. And it's taken me a long time to hone in and say, okay, I definitely need to listen, because there are many times where I'm like, I've been told something or I know something and I don't do it because I'm afraid of what other people will say, or because I think this is the better way to do it. And every time I do it the way I think it should be done, it just either takes longer or it just doesn't happen. So I've gotten better at going, okay, I've tried this because I thought this was what I was supposed to do, but it's not working. So I need to stop and listen, because they keep telling me it's not time yet. So wait, or wait, just wait. And usually when I wait, things turn out differently and for the better. But it is something you have to practice. And if you've tried something and it didn't work for you, then you start doubting yourself. And then you really don't know, is it my thought or is it my gut that's telling me what to do? So it's something I need to practice on, and
Yeah,
I've gotten better.
definitely. Yeah. Wanda, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I think when I was younger, I think I listened to my intuition more. I think I feel like I'm more cut off from it now. I do know that, it's like, oh, when you have those, oh, I knew that, and then you didn't do it, it's like, psh, I should have listened.
Yeah.
So I have those feelings.
The word was shit, in case you
Yeah, it's like, dang, I should have done that. I know. Then that's where that woulda, coulda, shoulda thing
Yeah.
comes out. Oh, I knew it, but I didn't. So I try to stop myself now, and I have to remember to ask.
How hard is it?
It's really hard for
And
me.
I mean,
Yeah, I
hard.
mean, unless I'm really like suffering or struggling, then it's easier for me to ask. But again, I don't always hear anything.
Does it help?
So I use a pendulum. That also helps me.
Does it help? Does it help you to talk to somebody about it, or is it just you just talking to yourself about it and
I
trying to resolve
suppose. I
Yeah.
guess it depends on the situation.
it? Mhm. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Maida?
I've gotten way better at listening to my intuition, and it's been leading me for a while now in the right direction, and I don't question it as much. My issue is I have so many ideas and they all feel right.
To you or to
me.
your gut?
To my
intuition,
gut and
yeah?
to me.
Really?
And I don't know which one I need to pursue. And all I can do is write my ideas down, because it's nonstop. And I'm like, well, maybe not now, but later. So then I try to hone in and just focus on. she's
So,
like, wait a minute. What's up?
Tell us. Go ahead.
You both brought up key points here. You both brought up key points. You said right now that it's harder for you sometimes to hear it, but in part because the voice in your head is worried about making a mistake. Do
Yeah.
you understand that?
Yeah.
So when you lose touch with that intuitive voice and it becomes more difficult, it is because you are literally you're in that space of worry, you're in that space of self-doubt. And that usually comes from a space of
Fear.
comparison to others. Do you understand? Comes from a place of comparison.
So
Now
you compare yourself to another human being.
yes, and you all do.
Mhm.
That's where judgment comes from.
So
You don't-
I should act the same way as my co-electrical engineer, because I am an electrical engineer. So I should act like he does.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
You
no, but I mean, that's-
yes,
that's where the fear
the
comes.
thought
That's the thought
Yes,
process.
I should have the same feeling as they have, but I don't. Why is mine different? And somehow the majority of you believe if you have a thought that's different than others around you, then there's something wrong with you.
Mhm.
And that is not true. In regards to the thoughts that come through, they're given to you in the moment to plant a seed. That doesn't mean you have to pursue them. So when you say, I don't know which ones to pursue, you pay attention to the thoughts. Yes, could you run with them? Yes, because you're getting downloaded information constantly, or shall we say, uploaded information from the truth of your life force. So when you are getting the information, pay attention to the synchronicities in the information, and it'll take you the direction you're meant to go. But here's the thing. If we say to you, this is what is going to happen, you immediately go, not just you, all human beings, when?
Yeah.
I need to make it happen. I need it now. It's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. We've been telling ME things for years.
Mhm.
And guess what? They're just about to come through. But again, you all want it yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So all you have to do with these thoughts that are coming through, and they are true, they're supposed to come to be, is understand that divine time is a thing, and it absolutely will bring about what you need in the moment to make that a reality. You don't have to pursue a damn thing.
Yeah.
As you say, wait.
Right. So, hold on, I had
okay, yeah.
this brought a story to mind.
Okay.
When we went, my eldest son needed a new car. So he had two different cars that he wanted to go look at. And I remember we went to the first car dealer.
The Ford.
Yeah, and he drove the car and he drove it around, and then he came and he's like, oh, he said to me, this is okay car. And I looked at him, I'm like, so did you like it? And he goes, yeah, it has this and it has this and this has, but he didn't really feel it. I could tell he didn't feel it. I'm like, okay, but what is your gut feeling telling you? He goes, yeah, Mom, this isn't the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, then that's the feeling you go with.
That's,
Don't give me the rationale why you think this should be the car. Go with your gut. And so we went and he looked at the other car, and that's the car that he went with. And it's been a pretty good car because that's where his heart was. That's where
his
he
heart
was
was.
getting the feeling.
Yeah.
So it's something we also need to teach our children.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to think of it on a logical sense. You have to feel it from the gut. Because I think a lot of times we teach our children this is a logical thing to do.
Yes.
And we don't make the connection between what is it you're actually feeling in the gut. It's like,
Yeah.
what is your heart telling
we
you?
do that all the time. We do. It's okay. We do. It's okay. Got his bone.
Yes.
Yeah. We do all the time with our children. We want them to be successful, so we're trying to impart what we think is the important thing. Right? Yeah, the car's got better mileage. I remember talking to Aaron
That's all
about
the
this.
logic,
Mhm.
not
And-
rather than the feeling.
And yet his
Yeah, I
feeling
definitely
was,
don't think
I
would
want
stop
this
that.
one. And so,
Yeah.
and it's hard. It's really hard it's hard for parents. I don't know how hard it is for an individual without kids, but for parents it's very difficult. So it's a dilemma that we have.
What do you think with
What
your
is
kids? Do you let
difficult?
them-
May we
do you
ask?
encourage them to go with their
Because
heart?
Yeah.
you're
Encourage
Is
them.
your-
well, our lives have been trying to be as successful, right? A career, a house, a dog, a picket fence, and so that we wanted to show, and we've been comfortable, blah, blah, and they've been comfortable, and so we want them to be that comfortable in that way. Now, that may not be what they want inside.
So
Yeah.
that's what you're
Yeah,
saying is
yeah,
hard for
yeah,
parents.
yeah.
Because again, like we said, you don't listen to that intuitive
Mhm.
voice because who others told you should be
Yeah.
or what life should look like.
Sure.
You are each
Depends
individual.
Yeah.
You should each have your own understanding of who you are here born to be.
Yeah.
You may not have a 100% clarity in each moment who that is,
Yeah.
but you do have, when you are on the path you are meant to be on, it comes with ease. When you
Yeah.
are on a path that is not aligned with that intuitive voice, it becomes more difficult, you see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, do you mind, my dear, if we use an example here, when a job no longer comes to be, there's always been signs that this is not where I'm meant to be. Do you understand what we're saying?
Yes.
Oh, yep.
But do you all listen? No, because again, it's comfortable
Comfort level.
and it's familiarity. And if I walk away, we told Emmy to quit her job. Well, how do you think that went over with
Because
people?
yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of it, she punished herself for years because of the judgment that came through. Do you understand? But if she had just stood and said, no, this is what I'm supposed to do, life would have been much easier for her. But instead, she did the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Or they were right. Or what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Nada, since you have so many things coming into your head, and I'm sure you write them down somewhere, do you think that stops you from pursuing one of them on one level?
No. Because, I guess I'm always, like everyone else, we're always trying to do the right thing, right? And what makes the most sense. And to your point, the downloads are not for now, there could be for later. So what I try to do is I try to see if that idea makes sense now, because I have noticed that I like to overdo it and then I overwhelm myself with so many things, right? Because I just like to be kept busy all the time.
Sure.
But I always look for synchronicities. And as the moment it starts to get too hard, I stop. I'm like, I've learned. And it's been a long process in learning this and just saying, you know what? Like the thing with the franchise. It was like one thing, it started out beautifully. Then one thing after another started happening. And I'm like, you know what? It's because right now is not the right time. I need to pause. However, things started kind of popping up. And because they started popping up, I followed through with it just to make sure I check that off the list, because I'm open to whatever, but I just don't want to miss an opportunity if it was meant to be that way. Because that's the thing, we don't know. They don't tell you, you know.
Here's the thing, we can promise you 100%, 100%, 100%. If it's meant for you, no matter what you do, you cannot push it away from you. Do you
Right.
understand what we say? You may change the timing, but if it's meant for you, it'll come through exactly as it's supposed to be. Do you understand?
Yeah, and I just took that as like, if not now, it's probably because there's a better opportunity down the road, you know, whatever the case may
And
be.
you're already in it, just let us say that. Just let us say that, you're already in it.
Your best opportunity.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Man, you girls make it sound so. I'll tell you right now. As much as I've come across my science to the woo side, to the woo-woo side, I have a terrible time listening to my intuition, and I know that, and I know Edna reminds me of it. But man, I'm telling you right now, I don't know.
And it's not easy.
It's not. I'm just having.
And you want to know how I know? Because when I found out that my position's being closed and I needed to go back to the classroom, I said, I can't do that. I'm not going back to the classroom. And I said, okay, I'm going to retire because I can. But you know how many people have come up to me at school and said, you can't retire, you're too young, what are you going to do? It's like, you need to teach for another 10 years before you get, the maximum amount. And that doubt is planted in you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
It's the opinion of
Yeah,
others.
And it's true
It's
because
the opinion of
yeah,
others.
and that's true because there were some times when she was going, well, maybe they're going to come up with a position for me, and maybe they're going to come up with a position.
Right,
for me.
it's like, well, maybe I should stay another year. Or maybe I should stay another 2 years. Because every day you get bombarded with like, no, you're too young, you shouldn't retire.
Or you could be a substitute.
Right,
or
do
you
something
could-
else.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And then, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should. Maybe I should try this, or maybe I should go look for another position. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, no, that's not what I want.
Right.
It's like,
Here's the thing,
I'm done.
you should, next
You're
time
done.
somebody says something like that to you, my dear, just ask them, so what is your idea of retirement?
right.
Because a lot of people do have the feeling that if you retire, you're basically just waiting
To die, exactly.
Where we find that interesting. What we just means it gives you the freedom to live a life that you
Different.
haven't had the freedom to do.
Exactly.
Right.
But many don't see it that way.
No, they don't
right?
because many, especially in the school, the teachers that I know, because I've known them almost as long as I've known Edna, they're always, when they ask, you can't retire because they don't have anything besides
Beyond.
what they're teaching.
Right.
They've been a
life
teacher all their
is a
life,
teacher.
and that's it. Edna has had hobbies. She's a graphic design person. She's done work. She sells books on Amazon, on Etsy. She's got stuff on teaching. So she has been working on doing all that work, plus doing some of the healing now, where she's going to have something to do.
Yeah.
And they do not have anything.
Right.
And their whole life has been teaching. And they don't know what they're going to do when they retire. So what I do, I'm going to work until I'm 65.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how they come at her because they don't understand.
Let in the moment of retirement, if you think of it that way, literally, Emmy retired at 53
Mhm.
because that was the year we told her to stop working.
And that's right.
You
I remember you
understand?
said that, yeah.
But what has come through and what's about to be is an amazing opportunity for an opening.
Yeah.
You understand what we mean? And that's all retirement is. It's really, how do you see it? How do you look at it? How do you reframe what you believe?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Because when she told me, she turned and said it, I was my first reaction was, my first thought was, oh my God, how are we going to handle the financial side of this world, right? I was scared. And
Well,
then,
yeah.
and then for a second later, I thought, you know what? It's her career, just like my career. And she's decided to end her career. So you should be happy for her. And at that point, I realized, yeah, I am happy for her. She's done in time. She's done her time. She's enjoyed that. That's what she wanted to be all her life. And now she's ready to move on to a different thing. And I said, okay, fire away, baby. Let's go.
And let us applaud you there,
Mhm.
because not many will go there. They'll stay stuck in that moment of fear.
Yeah.
So you have grown
support.
exponentially simply because you were able to pull yourself out of that space
Yeah.
of fear.
Mhm.
The energy, and especially there is a thing around finances that is extreme in many, many individuals you see. If you can literally understand that when you are in a space of joy, the universe brings you exactly what you need
Yeah.
and more if you allow it to be.
Yeah.
But when you allow yourself to get stuck in the energy that is created from somebody else's voice taught you that.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
understand that?
Yeah.
Somebody else's voice taught you that.
Yeah.
So that is the voice in your head, that intuitive voice reins you in.
Yep.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is all we're saying about intuition. It's that voice that feels true, and this one starts arguing with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is why we say, excuse the expression, shut the fuck up, Fred.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That voice in your head
Yeah.
brings through the opinion of others.
Yeah.
So if you can allow yourself to see, is this my understanding or is this my
Yeah.
understanding?
Yeah.
And it literally takes a moment to ask.
Yeah.
If it's something severe, like Emmy's had situations where literally you need to leave and she chose not to, and then she was hurt because she didn't want somebody to think she was crazy.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Everybody thinks she's crazy, but it's a thing.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm always labeled. And I told myself this year I would not become the reluctant healer, but I think my intuition says I'm a healer, but my brain just keeps saying, are you out of your mind? What's your colleagues going to, So that's my inner struggle. And at the beginning of the year, I decided I'm going to have that discussion with myself and tell Fred to go, find someone else to screw with. So anyway, that's my.
But that's having that understanding that struggle, and every time you spoke, it was what others people say, what other people say. We hate to say this, people, but who the hell cares what other people say? They are not you. They are not living your life experience. They can't tell you how to do you. They can't tell you how to be you.
Yeah.
You're the only person in this world who has any clue, truly, who Omar is. You are the only person who knows who Edna is. You are the only native, the only Mr. Peppers, and the only Wanda here.
Yep.
And Emmy, okay, she doesn't always know who she is either.
Okay, so that was an interesting question. We branched out and a lot of stuff, and so I appreciate all that. So thank you again, all four of you, for enlightening myself and enlightening the people we watch us. So thank you very much for helping me understand me.